Baragani.
Kujichagulia.
This is day 2 of our Kwanzaa celebration. Hope everyone's having a beautiful holiday. Kujichagulia means to define ourselves, create for ourselves, name ourselves, and just determine our own destiny without allowing others to do that. Ashe.
Ashe.
So I'm going to read something. On the second day of the holiday, as on all days of the holiday, the celebration begins with the pouring of from the cup and lighting one of the 7 candles of the Kanara. Today, the central black candle of Umoja, the first, and the first of the red is lit. After the candles are lit, we will reflect. Today, we're reflecting on the spirit of Kujichagulia and those who we know who have had that determined spirit, who fought and died and defined themselves, determined their destiny, forged their futures on their own. Ashe.
Ashe.
Since I have the mic in the hand, I'll just go first briefly. When I think about this principle this year, I was thinking about how I started my own book show. And it was my way of um, defining destiny during this time because this is a time, especially in North America, of Black erasure. So having a book show where I'm highlighting our stories in all ways, fiction and poetry and memoirs and in spreading joy, all of those things are like things that I genuinely enjoy. So that's another way of pushing back because it's almost like we're not supposed to have hobbies now and have things that just bring us lightness. At least that's not what's pushed. Mostly, what is pushed is everything has to be so productive. Everything has to be monetized and optimized. And for some of us, we want to just kind of have a joy in our lives. So that was the way that I did it this year, combining something that I have a passion for, along with something that I think the world needs right now. And I want to keep this going, and I'm still building on it. And that's another part of the principle, meeting people, sharing it in the world. So that's one way that I've been defining self-determination. The other has been in my work as promoting wellness and prevention. And I work in a healthcare system, but even though it's healthcare, it's really sick care. So the way that the payment policies and the way that it's designed and fully changing, but it's been like this for decades. It's really about keeping people managing sickness. So I've been pushing against that grain when I'm doing projects that are trying to help people build that wellness foundation. And it's been it's been a way of defining defining my own destiny in a career because like I said, most of what the system is more about medicine and fixing things once they're broke. And we need that. But we also need to prevent things from happening or help people thrive no matter where they are in their well-care journey. So I want to keep that going. That's a part of it. I don't see a lot of people like me in corporate America. And there's this trope that goes around when you do see Black women in corporate America. It's usually kind of like a white Black girl. So I think another way that I define my destiny is just showing up in my natural self, being me and bringing my gifts and competencies to American business, but doing it in a way that feels natural and authentic. Ashe.
Ashe.
Who wants to go?
still with us, Dej?
Yes.
Okay. Got you on speaker. If you want to say anything.
Oh, y'all are volunteering me to go next?
No. No, I'm just letting. No, we're just letting you know that you're here, and if you want to say something.
Okay.
All right. Kujichagulia. I did some reflecting last night, this morning. I thought about Kujichagulia, troubles or whatever I was dealing with, challenge that I was dealing with. It just gives you the motivation to push through. It gives you motivation to just the principle itself, not just today, just throughout the year. Something that you always tap into, an energy you always tap into when you need it. The principle just, it always stands firm whenever I need to, whenever I need something, whenever there is something that presents itself that I have to, persevere through self-determination, get to work towards, work through. It's a pain and a certain struggle that I have to conquer. It's in my mind, and I'm able to, conquer that, whatever challenges that I'm facing. Most challenges, as they present themselves in the physical world, are often, transmuted in the eternal, being as just a spiritual, obstacle that you have to face. You can face that eternally, and you can beat it. You can beat anything physical. You can beat anything just facing the world that we see. So it's all about conquering the eternal, that we deal with eternally first, and then we could deal with it heavenly. Funny. That's what I came to realize. Opposed to applying this principle throughout the year. And I expanded upon that today and this morning. So, yeah, I definitely conquered some challenges, battles, some internal conflicts that I was dealing with throughout the year. Just finding myself and going through the phase and finding my character as a young man, going to take that with. That was just a good thing for me this year that I dealt with. Yeah, I was able to take a step in that. I think I took a step in that. And I'm going to start seeing some blessings in the near future. As I mentally, I took a step mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, all that. By me applying this principle to myself. So, that's who Kujichagulia means to me. I wanted to know. Ashe?
Ashe.
I'll go next.
Okay.
All right, yeah. Kujichagulia. This was every year. It's always tested every day, whenever, whether it's getting up and not wanting to go to work or going to work and you don't want to, or being willing to help somebody out,
Coaster.
But also, I agree with something you said earlier about, certain parts of Black culture, as far as self-determination, and that I've noticed this year on social media and in real time and in person. I've noticed that there has been shifts and waves as far as different aspects of being Black not being celebrated or being looked down on, and some of it isn't. It's not always rooted in wanting us to improve. It's more so, like you said, an erasure or wanting to cater to respectability politics and things of that sort. You know what I mean? So, Kujichagulia means self-determination, but self-determination has multiple meanings to it. You know what I mean? And that's why this is such an important part of it. You know what I mean? Part of the experience is because without having the internal right, like you were talking about, it's hard for you. It's hard for anybody to go out in the world and be able to be all right with the world accepting who you are. You know what I mean? That's why not everybody. That's why a lot of people, a good amount of people, are so quick to want to change things about themselves to fit into a certain environment. You know what I mean? And not even like dress code, code of conduct, but actual facial features or even like personality aspects that might be true to you, but it may not necessarily fit the culture of the environment. You know what I mean? The unwritten rules. You know, and people are, a lot of people don't want to be considered cringe or corny or considered, doing too much or not doing enough by depending on how you present it. But yeah, I said it, you know what I mean? Doing taking those steps to being right with you, that's really the first step. And getting all right with how the world accepts you. There's always going to be somebody or group of people who have issues with you, but there's also always going to be people who are willing to respect who you are as being original and being authentic and self-determined. So, that's big. That's really important. But
I have a question for you, and Ty. Anyone who wants to share on this, based on what you said, what practices or like techniques do you use to sustain yourself with this program? Because it's really like a programming where we're living in a world that tells us we can't be our natural selves, and that there's an otherness that once we get to that otherness, we might be more richer or loved or successful. And it's so powerful. It's a powerful programming. There's nothing wrong with any of us if we fall victim to it because it's such a strong force that how do you push up against that? What superpowers do you use? And this is a genuine question that could be shared to help push up against that powerful program.
Great question.
There's different things you can use. There's different things you can think about. Recently, I've been trying to think about it as far as just like who's giving that message out. You know what I mean? And who, consider who the source is. You know what I mean? Whoever's telling me or telling a group of people that they need to be a certain way in order to be perceived as credible, that's when you gotta make sure they credible.
Yeah.
You gotta make sure, you know what I mean? Because everybody, it's kind of like follow the leader. You know what I mean? Followers, leader might not always be work for them.
Yeah.
Or the leader might be leading their followers in the wrong direction. This year was the year of the snake, right?
Yeah. Still is.
I was seeing something about that and how it was like a lot of people getting exposed for different things throughout the year, whether it's presidents, celebrities, even like certain social media influencers being exposed for different stuff. And it was really interesting because you're able to see, these are people with millions of people who hold them in high regard and hold them at a lot of times in higher regard than themselves. You know what I mean? So it's like if they see somebody looking a certain way or dressing, even like dress code, cutting their hair, telling black men, cut their locks off, cut their hair off or whatever, stuff like that. Um, it's really just knowing who you are.
Yeah.
Knowing that,
They're saying that the new currency now is attention and eyeballs. So there's going to be more and more of a war for your eyes and ears.
Make sure it's,
And
make sure it's on.
so tied to this about defining
push it out.
ourselves, I think we got to be even more discerning about what gets our eyes and ears.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting way more discriminatory about what gets my eyes and ears. People try to send me stuff all the time, and I'd rather just curate. I just want it to be more intuitive, just because there's all sorts of reasons why people want your attention, so that they could
that's right.
utilize it for themselves. And it's money now. It was money, it was more about, you went to the store and you got some hot chocolate and you paid 50 cents. Now, because that's so frequent, they got to keep coming up with currencies. And so now it's how much of the masses' attention can I get? And then I'm going to take that and quantify that in a way to get a profit.
It's interesting though because
Stand by the board.
It's about there's a lot of people that feel they need to look the same. Like I know this stuff online on social media about how certain Gen Z people like that kind of have like dressed the same, or have a lot of the same similar kind of thinking, even to where it comes to like the whole pitchfork mob mentality of dog piling on one person or for doing something or getting exposed for something. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with letting your opinion be known, but it does get to a certain point. You know what I mean? Yeah, you said it. This is. It has a lot to do with trying to have people all fall in line and going a certain way. We can all learn from each other, pick different things up about being our own self. That's it.
Ashe. Jays, you with us? You ready? You ready, sweetie?
Yes.
Okay, you're on, baby.
Okay. I think this year was a lot of trying not to let giving into negative energy, because I feel like there was a lot of it around me around the beginning of the year, and towards the end of the year a lot of it exited my life, thankfully. But I feel like towards the beginning I wasn't surrounded by people who were and who felt like they even wanted to be in a positive space. I felt like I was around people who actually kind of like enjoyed negativity for some reason. That's kind of how it started to feel. And then it started to like affect me. And you don't think that things like that, like you don't think that someone's attitude can start to affect like your space, because it's like that's their attitude, it's not your attitude. But over time, the people you surround yourself with, if they're constantly so negative, like it's going to eventually start affecting you and you're going to start thinking that same way. And I had a friend remind me, like, that's not you. Like, don't start thinking and acting like them. You don't have a negative glass half empty mindset. So don't let that affect you. And create your own space. And so that's exactly why that's like the main one of the big reasons why I decided to like move spaces and create like a new energy space, because I feel like that's very important where you live and the people you surround yourself with. I chose more wisely towards the end of my year, and I felt so much better about being able to do creative things, which is basically my what I'm studying. I felt like I could do it a lot more freely when I didn't have when I had the space to really sit and create without judgment, if that makes sense. So, um, towards the end of the year, um, I was in a production I was doing. I choreographed a musical this year. And even though there was a lot of like negative forces coming at us, like even from teachers and things like that, because we were all like the entire production team, everyone was always looking out for each other and everyone was always like just wanting to create a positive space. We ended up creating one. And so that is just shows like all you have to do is want to create something and don't let other forces try to impede on whatever it is that you want to create. Just do it, you know? And that's what I learned this year. Like with a lot of my choreography choices, they were very non-traditional, but because I have different backgrounds, like I didn't want to let people's opinions like sway the way that I wanted to create things. And then to answer mom's question too, I think something that helps me not like conform, I guess, if that's the word, is just remembering like how cool black people are. um
Tell the
whenever
truth. Tell
whenever
the
I
truth.
whenever I watch like I feel like documentaries are my favorite thing, and I'm not talking about the Diddy documentary. I'm talking about like well, even some aspects of that documentary, not about him, but about like the artist. Like it does it not just make you extremely proud to be a part of the culture
Mm-hmm.
watching documentaries of like artists who just created such cool stuff, like such cool cultural movements, and you're just like, this is my culture. So why would I want to change myself when we're the coolest people in the world? And so I think that is that's what reminds me like not to assimilate, because like we're the coolest people and everyone essentially wants to be like us, and because they can't, then they're trying to silence it. So that's why that's what I do, and it like reminds me to never like change who I am no matter what space I'm in. Yeah.
Ashe.
Yeah.
Fire. And we want to let everyone know who's watching at home that you too can participate in the Kwanzaa ceremony yourselves. If you're listening to us on Facebook or YouTube or Twitch or Twitter or Kick or wherever we're blasting off from, this is not only about the family, but the community. So if you have something to say in regards to what we're talking about, we appreciate the loves and we appreciate the likes, but we'd rather have your input. It's just as valuable and just as sacred. So we need y'all to get in here with us. We'll be here every day at 11 a.m., maybe 11:15ish. We'll get started. And then, you guys can join us. You can even come up live on stage with us. You can use an avatar if you want to participate. And let's be self-determined about participating. bring somebody with you so you don't feel by yourself. You know what I mean? Everybody bring one person. And I know people get real squeamish about talking live and things like that, but just have a little courage, because this particular holiday and the rest of the time that we have remaining in it is about us, for us, and about us. You know what I mean? And there's not a whole lot of things. They're trying to fight to make this country not about us anymore. So we have to fight the other way. All right. So as far as self-determination goes, I'm going to break down self. Self is like body, right? Self is the body. But the body is made up of multiple organisms, multiple appendages that make up the body. Arm, leg, arm, head, right? So as my family convenes to celebrate Kwanzaa, we are the body of Kwanzaa for our family. So we are the self. We are recognizing us as a people and as a unified body. We celebrated unity yesterday. Today we're celebrating self-determination, Kujichagulia. And when you're talking about determination is perseverance, but it's also your test. And once you get into that test, pass or fail, it teaches you about yourself. It teaches you everything you need to know about yourself. And whether you pass that self-determination test every year, every season, in and out of it, is going to determine, or is going to equalize to, how your life progresses and how your life shapes out. So everybody has a determination test to conquer and to, they call it back, way back in the Kemetan schools, they used to call it conquering the 10 bodily fetters. So if you can conquer those bodily things, meaning your body, your culture, and your environment that try to make yourself lesser than who you are, then you can also stand up afterwards and be greater than who you are. All right, I'm not going to get on my Preacher Paulie sermon. I'm not going to go there. But I hope that is a jewel that can help some people. And, I had a lot of goals this year. Some of them were met. Some of them were not. So that was a test for me. My media company is blossoming, and I'm really, really thankful for that. A lot of my shows are turning the corner. I'm very, very thankful for that. Thank you to the family. Thank you to the extended family. Thank you to all of the hosts and all of the friends and everybody extended to make the Real HD TV network what it is and what it's going to turn into being. So if you guys have a determined enterprise that you guys think you want to speak on, and some of the things that you guys want to endeavor about, as our family talked about, please come on up. You see we'll give you the link on the bottom, and you can join us and tell us how your self-determination worked for you this year, or if you're going to be a self-determined person in 2026. Ashe.
Ashe.
Coming up.
I
think we're okay for now. Right. I don't see anybody coming up.
All right. So I wish you all, I know David has to go to work. I know some of you are working today, or some of us are off. And whatever it is that you're doing, I wish everyone safety and wellness and peace for today. Remember self-determination. Think about like the lessons you've learned this year and applying that principle. And then maybe what you would like to manifest for the following year. And let's do our Harambe.
All right.
All right.
Harambe. 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 Join us tomorrow, 11 a.m. for more of the same. Good vibes, Kwanzaa energy. Tap in. We love y'all. Come on through. And everybody share this with someone that you know. And y'all come on in here tomorrow. Same time, same place. We're going to get it in. All right, y'all. Peace.